Okay, I want to talk about creating a auxiliary view. So we're going to take a drawing and put this part into it. Let's first start with let's hit this arrow here and let's use our wizard. We'll just use our normal configuration. Throw the ISO view over here. Go back to the part view. Click on the part. Click here, it's fine. I'll just move everything later. I'm going to slide down. This doesn't fit so good. Let's do this. Go back to layout. And let's up this to a D size drawing. Resize this. Okay, I'll move this over here. Oh, I gotta say okay to this. Move this over here. Alright, so that's fine. I wanted to dimension up this view, so that would all work. But let's say I went back to this part and this part got modified and I want to add a hole on the flat. So first thing is I want to put this hole and I want to put it in the center. So let's think of some techniques here. I'm going to go to Position Sketch. That was under the Model tab and the Feature Position Sketch. I'm going to make sure this icon is not blue. So that icon right there, you gotta push this button to turn on Smart Position. And then I'm going to pick this line here as my horizontal line and this line here as my vertical line. And it puts an axis H and V on there, and I'll select OK. And I'll hit normal to view, and it allows me to work on that flat surface of that flange. So what I can do is create a circle. And you know what? I don't know where the center is. So here's what I could do. I could create a line from this corner to this corner. Looks like I got pretty close. And create a point. Oh, I don't think I have that option here. Where is my intersect? Let's try point equal distance on this line. And I'm just going to say 1. Okay, so put a point in the middle of the line. And then I could select this circle. Did I put it alright on there by chance? I'm going to use that control button, see if I can grab that point. You know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to open up my tree and look at my geometry. Click off here, no less. I'm going to pick that point, the last point I created. What is this point? This point is up here on that corner. This point over here is the one point I put, so it'd be right in the center. Another thing I could have done is created another line from this corner over here, and I could have done an intersection point. You know what I think would probably be smarter? Just delete the circle. So I got the line, and what we want to do is make that line a construction line, because it's not going to be part of any part of the circle. Okay, and then I got this point here. I want to put a circle on that point, so I pick that and then we just click a position. If you go to auto constrain and just say okay, while that circle is highlighted, it's just going to dimension it. Now I like my circles to be diameter callouts, so a 1/2 inch circle seems good to me. Technically I have to dimension this, so I think what I'll do is delete this, and I'm just going to highlight the circle with the axis and hit auto constrain and say okay, and it should automatically dimension everything off of the axis, that local axis system. Okay, this is green. Now what I'm worried about is when I do a sketch analysis, this point is a warning, it's isolated. Okay, so what I want to try and do is make it a construction element. So down the bottom it has a feature that allows me to hit set construction, and then it doesn't interfere with making the solid. Okay, and then under use edge diagnostics, this sometimes is a problem in the analysis, but it'll still make the solid as long as I made that a construction. So let's just double check it. It says it's under constraint, and it's going to give you those issues because of that one point or this point over here. I'll cancel that. Again, I'm going to go to this, used edge, diagnose, this under constraint point is this one up here in the top corner that I can barely see. Okay, I'm going to try and click on that point, and I'm trying to make it a construction element, and I don't see why that's not showing up. I don't think I can delete it. I'll try and delete it. Oh, it kept that point. That's cool. Oh, what happened is it got rid of the line, which really doesn't matter. It was just a construction line, so I could place that circle in the center. Okay, if you knew your dimensions, you could have just constrained it and dimensioned it accordingly as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and exit out, and I'm going to pop back into my ISO view, and I'm going to take that circle and make a pocket. Now I really could have done circle and grabbed this edge, and this face, and did the same thing, but I didn't really know where that center was, so I constructed a line, and I just wanted to show you a technique of how to use a position sketch. So we've got the circle done. We're going to go ahead and go to model, and then we're going to use the pocket command, and for a dimension I'm going to go in with 0.5. Let's see how deep that is. Let's do 3/4 inch deep. Okay, so what's going to happen is when I look at this part here, I don't see the hole being done because this part's never been saved. Okay, so I'm making changes, but you're not going to get your updates to work all the time when you don't have any saves going on. So let me minimize this. Let's rename this. Auxview Demo. And for the drawing, I'll rename it the same. Auxview Demo. Now that I've even changed the names, I'm going to get these update symbols. We can do a right click and hit update. and now the holes will appear in these views. What you might want to do is do a save with option, and then you're just double checking to see what you're saving, and then you can say okay to save that, and it'll tell you that it's going to save those models. I'm not going to bother to save this, I got enough stuff saved. So in my ISO view, I've got hidden lines showing these. Now, before I turn off the hidden lines, if I wanted to do my isometric dimensioning, you might want to use those hidden lines to dimension to. So create the dimensions for your ISO view first, and then hide your hidden lines. Okay, but that's not what this demo is about. This demo is about doing an auxiliary view. Now the reason I would need an auxiliary view is that this hole is not a true circle. It's not a true circle because this bottom area is flat, and I'm looking at the true size and shape on the bottom. But this top area is an ellipse. So I need to get a view of the circle so I could dimension the circle. So what I need is a true view of this a true view of this flat surface so I can have a straight on shot of that circle. So what I want to do is, we have isometric projections and front views that we've talked about, and then under here we have section cuts, which we've talked about. We've section view versus section cut is a section cut or line cut or curve cut that only goes through whatever we're cutting, and you won't see any further. Section view allows you to continue seeing the other half of the part or the other portion that you're cutting. I've decided that maybe I better show this and as a revision. So what I want to do here is come back to layout, add a revision block, and select OK. I'm going to put my initials in there. Initial drawing, and I'm going to double click on this. Can't double click on it because we got to go to the background sheet and double click the A, change it to a dash, which is a revision new. So I got initial drawing. I'm going to switch back to the sheet background, edit sheet to put the blue axis in the bottom left corner. Okay, and then save this like view. Whoa, oh, there, fit all in. And then here, view, isometric view, fit all in. Axis is supposed to be in hide. Fit all in. Notice it zooms up a little bit closer, and I'm supposed to save it just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the drawing, and we're going to do a save with the options just to show the dash P is for a part, the dash D is a drawing. Up here you have dash P, and the other one is a dash D. Oh, what the? These are completely backwards. How the heck? Cancel. this is my drawing. That's weird. D for drawing. P for part. Okay, so this is part up here in the spec tree, and this is D for the drawing in the spec tree. I'll just update real quick, make sure everything's kosher, and we'll do a save with options. And these are the two it's going to save just like that. I'm going to say OK. I'm going to pretend like I didn't put the hole in there. Okay, now we're not supposed to. One of the things that drives me nuts, for the drawing title, it puts in the actual part number that I want. So if I were doing my drawing title, what I would do, and these are all supposed to be capital letters, by the way, what I would do is edit the background, double click on this. Now that should have been a D. Oh, you know why? Because I already created the drawing that way. Come on. Control C. Control V. I'm just going to backspace here. Trying to double click this so I can do a paste. Oh no. It wants to crash. Please don't. Looks like I'm toast. Okay, another infamous crash. Sorry for the inconvenience message from Dassault Systems. Luckily, I was able to restore and come back. Although now I've lost my number. I'm going to try and double click on this again. Control V, please work. Oh my God, I can't believe that worked. Okay, so at least I was able to come back. Whoops. Oh no, I had that right. Okay, so I got my drawing number here. The title is the demo. Okay, this is my first one, so we'll go back, fit all in. Okay, and I like to just go back to the sheet background and turn off the frames just because they drive me nuts. Okay, and save it just like that. So let's try and do this again. Save with options. These are the two I'm going to save. Oh, I haven't done any changes. Well, it has one modification. We'll select OK. Now, the idea here is I shouldn't be able to change anything on the initial drawing once a revision's been done. So there's no way you could go in and cheat. The reason is if something does go wrong, they got to be able to go back and track the history on how the part was created and any of the revision changes, what changed on each revision, so they'll have a copy of that. So ideally, when I do a save with options and I click these two here, I'm just going to click both of them, and I'm going to hit this one here where it says revision. I'm just going to go right here to the first one, revision, and you see it's got this let's see if we see a change here. Save with options. I'm going to hit revision, select OK. I feel like that didn't change because I didn't change the name. Let me do one thing here. It did change it because there's a B1 out this. And this has a B1. It originally had an A1. So let's try this. I'm going to go to Properties. I'm going to change this P to an A, which is what I think I should have done first. So capital letter A, select OK. And that would stand for Rev A. This one here, Properties. We're going to change the dash D to a dash A, which means this is Rev A. Alright. Just going to see save with options. It knows I made the modifications. These are called B. I'm going to select OK. If I click here and try and find my content, hopefully it's going to find the latest things I've been doing. Oh God, but it takes like 20 minutes to get in there and save it. So we just have to have blind faith right now that it's doing it. That the other one actually will have demo A1, and this one here will have a demo A1 at the end. They've been now changed to B1, which is kind of confusing because I'm doing Rev A, but it doesn't have its first letter is an A is how it counts them. So main thing is this is a Rev A drawing. And what I want to do is create an auxiliary view so I have a straight shot of this circle or the hole. And what I could do here is go to layout, and then this arrow here, we expand that to find auxiliary view. Now the reason why it's under intensified is because I can't make an auxiliary view of the view I'm in. The view I'm in is sheet 1, and I know that because I see that blue axis on the corner of the sheet. So what Dassault did backwards is they should have put the axis here, and that way it always grow to the left and the title block wouldn't keep shifting, and then we wouldn't keep having to move stuff. So Dassault, your axis should be over here on this corner, and then all the drawings should keep going to the left. Anyways, what we want to do is make this view the active view. So that would be the front view. I'll just double click on it, and to me I would call it the primary view because this looks more like the side of the part, not the front of the part. To me, this is the front of the part, this is the side of the part, this is the top of the part, which is exactly how it should be laid out, except that they're calling it the front, and I would call this the side just because of how this part was built. Now, once I've expanded that and I make this view the active view, the blue axis comes over here, let me know its relationship to the local axis. No, not the local axis, the absolute axis. And now I can find auxiliary view. And what I'll do is I'll pick this line, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to pick on this line. I'll double click, and I'll put it up here in this corner. Wait, it's not doing it right. Let's try this again. Auxiliary view. I'm going to just kind of line it up, and I don't know if you can see that horizontal line's kind of shooting off there. Now the arrow is going to go right into the part, so I got to move it up a bit. I'm going to single click, come down here, and I'm going to get it lined up right on that chamfer, and I see that tangency symbol, parallelism symbol, let me know it's right on top of that line where the chamfer is, so it's going to be a true projection in my auxiliary view. I'll double click, and now I can move this over here, and click a position. And in the old days, wherever my arrows was, it used to break that view. Now what I got to do, I'm going to try and break this view. No, that's not it. I wonder why it didn't break. Okay, after you create your auxiliary view, it's too large. So a couple things we got to do here. We're going to find clipping view. So one of these icons, most likely the broken view, will be the one you got to find the down arrow for, and then find clipping view. And we don't want to do the circle one, I want to do a profile. And what we're trying to do is create a box around this so the lines don't look, now here won't matter, but when I come through here, it's supposed to almost look like it got torn off or bitten off. So they do jagged edges, and then you're just kind of creating a profile where it looks like it's kind of torn. I can come back here and double click to end it, and you got what's called broken or clipped views. Now I have an auxiliary view that shows a true view of that circle. The only problem is I don't remember how to get this crosshair correct so I can dimension to it. Okay, so what I want to do here is under annotation, I want to do a center line with reference. So I'm going to have to delete this one and find not center line, but center line with reference. And what you do is you select your circle, select this line, and it will put your axis parallel to that line. So when I come back to dimension, if I want to dimension from this edge to this end, oh boy, now we got to right click and force this dimension. I believe it was this one. Let's go right along the direction. Grab this line. Okay. And again, dimension from here to maybe this top edge. Let's dimension from the end of this line to this line, let's say, and force it along a direction, and I'll pick this line here. Oh, why are you telling me that? Dimension this to this one. Representation, try and force on element. Oh, I missed. Son of a gun. Dimension this line to this line. And this time it just kind of worked. Why did that? It didn't give me an option. So sometimes when you don't get your options, or sometimes when it doesn't just automatically come in for you, you want to do a right click and try and force it to go parallel or perpendicular to a line. Alright, but that's my reasoning for doing an auxiliary view. So I got a straight shot of the circle and I can actually dimension to it. You can't dimension to this hole on this flange because you're not looking at the true size and shape of that surface. I had to create an auxiliary view to get that true size and shape. What I need to do is get better at trying to maneuver these out, because that A is not supposed to be on the part. I try and double click on it, but see if I can manually slide it. I don't know. So that's something else we got to figure out. And then you would want to do a diameter here. I could highlight this whole thing, right click properties, for the value we want to choose numdink, and on this one here I want to go to properties, under dimension line we want to have that horizontal line. Under extensions, dimension line, dimension text, dimension lines, I want just the one arrowhead, so symbol 2 has got to be turned off. I hit OK. I'll just grab this, I'll try and move it over. Whoops. Move it over here. Now I want to try and be careful not to have that go right on that line, so you got to just kind of jostle it around so it looks more like that. Okay, now we might have to double click the Auxview and turn the frame on and move that auxiliary view a little bit further away from the part to give me some room to add my label. Okay, I could have even broken it off, done my clip and clipped all that off there to make more room, but you get the idea here. That is how we create auxiliary views. It gets really tricky. You quickly run out of room to add that type of geometry. Spacing it out, it's going to be important to learn how to space that out to get that room available to add that particular auxiliary view. Okay, that's looks like it did move that part though. That out. Let's try that again. I'm going to double click on this. Click on this. I guess I'm going to try and move it up here. And just click a spot and it'll move it. Now that's way too high. What it's supposed to line up with these arrows, this break, technically. So double click on this, use this arrows here, move it down here. I guess you won't get to see it until you click somewhere and commit to it. Alright, that's your callouts for your auxiliary view.